Hey everybody, Carl from Cheap Smut here, and thank you for joining us on this, the third edition of the Smutco Industries Vault re-releases. If you're new here, we are currently on hiatus. We will be back on February 12th. But in the interim, we are re-releasing some of our favorite episodes from the first season of Cheap Smut. This way, we've got a lot of new listeners and folks who are new to the show who might have not gone back that far. So we're just kind of pushing everything to the top of the feed. And then I'm adding these little interstitials, if you will, at the beginning of every episode to give you a little peek behind the curtain. And this week, we had a really fun one. We are re-releasing Moshe, Kosher Nostra by Mira McGee. It was episode 28 of Cheap Smut, and it came together in a really fun way. We were recording Not All Himbos Wear Capes with our friend and special guest, Josh Fekete, and he mentioned that a friend of his had a sister that wrote smutty novels, and he looked it up and said, you have to check it out. This is great. It's called Moshe, Kosher Nostra by Mira McGee, and we looked it up, and Katie read it, and it was phenomenal, and not only was the book great, but we had a great time recording the episode. And so it was really fun how that all came together and how we were able to discover something courtesy of our friend Josh. So we hope you like the episode. If you've already listened to it, listen to it again. It's fun. If for no other reason than it contains one of the phrases, the most delightful phrases that is such a wonderful turn of phrase and yet repulsed Katie something fierce. See if you can find it. I'm pretty sure it's obvious. And with that, please enjoy Moshe, Kosher Nostra.
I thought maybe you'd recorded the ghost. That would be great.
Piss
Send
off,
that to
ghost.
Zach Baggins.
What's that?
Send that to Zach Baggins.
Oh. Hey, please come check out our Haunted Smutty podcast.
Do not come anywhere near my home, Zach Baggins. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cheap Smut. My name is Katie Mizell.
And my name is Carl Mizell.
And this is a podcast that has inspired at least one person to write a book, so my work here is done.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You can find us on I'm just kidding. How are you, honey?
Oh, I'm so good, thank you. I am so good.
It's been a great day. It's been a great week.
Yep.
We had somebody reach out to us on TikTok and say that they enjoyed the show and that they enjoyed it so much and they liked the fact that we were creating something together and they wanted to write a book with their spouse.
Yeah.
A smutty book. They were going to try their hand at it, and they have, and they've already got their first chapter complete.
They said they're working on their first chapter, and when it's ready, they'll send it to me.
Oh, I misread
And
it.
I was just like, you're going to send me your fledgling chapter? Oh my God.
I misread the message. But either way, that's so great. So keep up the great work. Just like you always say at the end of the show, if there's a book in you, read it. And if there's fucking in it, or if there's a book and you write it, and if there's fucking in it, you'll read it, is what I should know by now because we've been doing this for like 7 months.
Yep.
So that's great.
Yes, it's a very exciting. There's always room for more smut in the world.
Yeah.
And if I could have any part in inspiring somebody to write anything, but especially smut, I'm taking the W on that one.
Absolutely. You absolutely should do that. How all of that aside, how are you?
Didn't we already do this? I'm great.
That's what I said. All that aside. Yeah.
I'm so good. I'm so good. We've had a lot of engagement with fans and new listeners this week, which has just been so wonderful. I finished jury duty on Tuesday, which was great. I mean, participating in our justice system, yes, but also being done with participating in our justice system. Yeah. And for the rest of the week, I've just been, sort of doing nothing. I've been like an emotional, wrung out rag. So I've just been doing nothing, and it's been wonderful.
Yeah. No, it like I said, it's been a great week. I was minimally on the road this week for work, and that was very nice. And we've started to fall into our back to school routine. Our son's school is very, very close to us. It's like a 3-minute bike ride. So as long as the weather holds up, I'll put him in the little Thule trailer, as he likes to call it, the tuk-tuk, and ride him to school and pick him up from school every day. It's so great. So
much fun.
Yeah, no, it's been a blast. And with that, speaking of a blast, we had a blast on our last episode.
Yes.
Courtesy of guest Josh Fekete,
That wasn't our last episode.
Oh, that was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, Himbro was the last episode.
Yeah.
I have lost all track of time. 2 episodes ago, our guest Josh Fekete, prior to the record, mentioned, he said, hey, a guy that I work with has a sister who writes smut.
Yeah.
You should check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And we did.
Yes.
And now we're going to talk about one of those books.
Yes, we are.
On this episode.
Uh-huh.
And you very much enjoyed it.
I did. I enjoyed it very much. It was so funny.
Good.
So funny.
Well, let's not keep the listeners in suspense any longer.
Okay. All right. So this week I read Moshe, book 1 in the Kosher Nostra series. Technically, it's called Moshe, Covenant of Ascent, Kosher Nostra, book 1.
Is this a smutty novel or a Coheed and Cambria album?
It's both.
Yes.
Both.
Oh, if Coheed and Cambria did like a
smutty album.
Well, no, they did because what they would do, it would be a smutty comic book, and then they would write a concept album that's supposed to be related to the book.
Yep.
But you're like, I don't get it, but they fucking rock. Either way, that's a great fucking title. It's metal as hell, and I love it.
It is. This is Moshe by Mira McGee is what I read this week, and it's fantastic. It's so funny. It's irreverent. It pushes some tropes. It's a mafia romance. We haven't done a mafia romance yet. I'm not much of a mafia reader. I haven't really read a mafia book since, oh God, there was a series of incredibly filthy mafia novellas by Kresley Cole. Yeah, Kresley Cole, that I read years and years and years ago. I'm just not really one for mafia stuff most of the time.
Okay.
But this one, like I said, it pushes some tropes, it turns some stuff on its head. It's so irreverently funny. I laughed out loud. You heard me laugh out loud, and
which is rare.
Yeah, I'm a stoic reader. I don't usually do that.
That's true. You are.
So laughing out loud that means that something was really funny, and a lot of this was really funny.
I was actually disappointed because like your laughter came pretty close to something that I had done,
and it wasn't.
And it wasn't me. And I was like, wait a second, you don't laugh out loud at the books you read. I mean, you read a lot of funny books, but again, you were very stoic when you read.
Yes.
So, Mira, well done.
You did great, babe.
Tell us the deets on this book.
All right. So, Moshe is available for $3.49 or through Kindle Unlimited. It is 175 pages. It is the first book in a series of 3. I don't know if there will be more. They can be read as standalones, but the third book does recommend you read them all to understand the story. So read them all. And please read them all because I really liked this and they deserve to be read.
What are our content warnings for this week?
All right, content warnings this week are murder, commission of crimes, organized crime, mild stalking, copious amounts of cussing in Yiddish. There is a whole glossary of terms at the beginning of this book. Most of them are Yiddish words that are in the book that if you haven't spent a lot of time around Jewish people or are Jewish yourself, you may not know them. Mm-hmm. There's like 3 pages of Yiddish terms, and they're scattered all throughout the book. They're great.
I would love to, after we put this episode out in the world, I'd love to push it to our Jewish friends and get their feedback.
Yeah. I will send this to every Jewish person I know. Be like, read this book immediately. I will be saying a few of those both Yiddish and Hebrew words in this episode. I will likely be mispronouncing them. I looked them all up. I listened to them being pronounced. I apologize in advance. I'm sorry. I tried my best.
You did try in earnest.
I did try. So shall we begin?
Yes, let's.
All right. Starting with our MMC this week. His name is Moshe Holofcener. Legitimately, he is the CEO of Mishpacha. Did I say that right? Mishpacha Consortium. Mishpacha is the Yiddish word for clan or family.
Okay.
They have medical marijuana dispensaries, a porn studio, and a loophole legal sex work ring They figured out a way to make sex work legal, and they fully support all of their employees in that with like free everything, 401k matching, dental, vision. They're employing sex workers exactly how they should be employed.
Yeah.
With incredible coverage, social coverage.
Absolutely. I mean, Killer Mike said, I support the sex workers unionizing their services.
Yep.
And I second that.
Yes.
This isn't full unionization, but this is a good start.
It's sex work with bennies, with a full
hell yeah,
a full sheet of bennies. It's great. They also have
I have a SEP, dumbass. Shout out to like what, season 2 of Archer? I can't remember season 3.
Remember.
Anyway.
And they also have a freight and hauling business.
Oh.
Those are their legitimate enterprises, but illegitimately he is also the Avraham Avinu, which is Hebrew for father. They call him the Avinu throughout the rest of the book, of the Kosher Nostra, the Jewish Mafia.
Wow.
They are settled and located in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they have businesses all up and down the eastern seaboard and very healthy working relationships with the Italian Mafia, the Irish mob, and the Native American casinos.
Oh.
Yeah.
And first of all, I love that they're placed in North Carolina.
Yes.
Because you're on the eastern seaboard. You're about halfway between like New York and then down in Florida. You can get down through Georgia. You can run all kinds of stuff. I love it. No notes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Did you hear a ghost again?
I did. I heard a ghost, or I might have just heard a cat.
Okay.
Some sort of critter scuttled across our back porch before we started recording, but I was like, it's a ghost.
I can't hear anything because I have that.
Yeah, that's true. So Moshe is very handsome. He is cut.
You mean physically?
Physically cut. He's it's skinny fit.
Oh, I
He's
think
got lots of abs and.
Okay, like I wasn't sure if you meant like his penis.
Oh, well, obviously.
But yeah,
he's Jewish.
I was like, it's redundant.
He is cut. No,
Okay.
but he is muscly.
Okay.
And handsome. He is charming. He is classy, and he has been the Avinu of the Nostra ever since his father retired from the position, who had that position from his father, who retired from the position. It's a family business. They work with family, and taking care of the family is the most important thing to him. At the beginning of this book, Moshe is committing a murder.
All right.
Yes. He and his capitans have tortured a man named Tim, who was embezzling from their medical marijuana dispensaries.
God damn it, Tim.
Yes, he worked for their like accounting something or other, or was doing their books, started skimming money, so they killed him. Moshe concludes all of this like torture with a monologue, a really solid, creepy I'm a bad guy monologue, and then puts a knife in Tim's spinal cord, and just kills him.
I will never look, you fuck up at work, you go on a PIP, performance improvement plan, or a CAP, corrective action plan. Mm-hmm. Apparently Moshe doesn't have time for that.
No. Look, Dead Guy Tim, which is what I call him in my notes, Dead Guy Tim stole a lot of money from the mob.
Yeah, no.
He got killed.
Yeah, that's the corrective action is murder. And
put that on a t-shirt. The corrective action is murder.
I'll make a note.
All right, thank you. Okay, so after Tim dies, Moshe advises.
Sorry, I just love how you pointed out, like, he died. Well, yeah, no, we know he murdered him. I love the idea that he was just like kind of lingering for a little bit, and they were just waiting for him to die before they started talking again.
He actually, so I remember
they don't want him to overhear anything.
Moshe was like whispering in his ear like a bunch of awful stuff so that he could just like die in all the agony, I guess. I don't know. And he died like halfway through.
Motherfucker.
Like one of his capitans is like, Avinu, I think he died like halfway through the speech, which is a shame because it was a good one.
Yeah. No, you nailed it.
You did so good. But yep. He is dead. So after Tim is dead, Moshe then advises the capitans to set up security for Tim's widow and children, just in case there's any blowback. They do not fuck around with women and children. He then leaves to attend a charity event for the Children's Hospital, to which he is already late. But he got blood on his suit during the commission of Tim's murder, and because his mother would flip her shit if he showed up in a dirty suit, he tells his driver and cousin, Ernie, to take him to get some new clothes first. So they go to the mall, which is a very novel experience for Moshe because he has always been the child of a mafioso and everything he owns is bespoke. Yeah. So he's like, look at this place. This is great. I think Ernie takes him to a Nordstrom and he's like, whoa, what's going on? There's so much stuff here. Look at all this. Just like racks and racks of clothing. And Ernie's like, do not tell your mother that you're buying off the rack.
I was just going to say the least believable thing about this is A, that he is buying something off the rack.
Yeah.
And B, let me guess, it's just going to magically look fucking great on him.
It looks good.
Okay. I'll take that.
It looks good. It looks fine. It's a Hugo Boss suit. It's like a nice suit.
Oh, okay.
It's
fair.
a decent suit.
I was going to say, as somebody who has both gone off the rack and had a couple of suits tailored.
Yeah.
There's no comparison.
Yeah, there really isn't. I mean, it probably helps that Moshe does not have your physique.
That's true.
You know, you got them big old thighs and wide shoulders. I think he's more standard.
Yeah, more lithe.
Yeah, more straight up and down. So while walking through the Nordstrom, fuck.
Hey, where you going? Going to Nordstrom?
I'm going to Nordstrom's. While walking through the Nordstrom, he sees a butt attached to our FMC. Her name is Seril Manoff. Seril. S-E-R-I-L.
Seril.
She is petite, brown-haired, blue-eyed, incredibly cynical and snarky, and very independent. She's also Jewish.
And apparently has a great ass.
And has a great ass, I guess. Good for her.
Yeah.
Well done. Moshe is immediately attracted to her, and he can tell that she is attracted to him too, but she is at work, and she maintains her professional demeanor the whole time as much as she possibly can. She gets him the new suit, and he wears it out of the store. Like, he asks her to cut the tags out of it so he can just wear it out and put his old bloodied suit in a bag for him, please.
Now, did he detect that she was attracted to him the old-fashioned way by picking up on physical and nonverbal cues?
Yes. There's no smelling. He didn't have to smell it.
He is a normal human male, though.
Yes,
in his defense,
he is.
He's not
like you weird monsters in my monster forkers that can smell horny. Oof.
Smell horny at 1,000 paces.
While they are completing this sale at the register, another coworker of Cyril's, Natalie, comes in to kiss Moshe's ass and flirt with him, but he shuts down, goes completely cold. He wants nothing to do with Natalie. He only wants to speak with Cyril. He actually is like, well, this woman is accompanying me to my event this evening, so you can leave me alone. And she's like, Cyril's like, that's not how this works. I am at work. I am on shift until close. You can't just tell me we're going to an event.
That is totally inappropriate.
Yeah. Natalie is then like, I'll go with you. And he's like, no, no, I don't want you. I want her. And if she can't come, then I'm leaving. Goodbye. He finishes and pays. And first of all, he is completely astounded that the suit that he is buying only costs like $1,300.
It's a steal at twice the price.
And then he is also incredibly upset that he can't tip her. He wants to give her money. And Ernie has to be like, Avinu, you don't tip people at Nordstrom. They get paid on commission. So they leave. They go to the event. And after they leave, Cyril is like, what just happened? Who was that guy? And Natalie gets to explain to her that she just turned down a date with the Avraham Avinu, the leader of the Jewish Mafia.
How the fuck does she know?
Apparently, like, he's a big enough deal in terms of being a legitimate business owner and very wealthy in the Charlotte area. And, like, the rumors of him being the head of the mafia have reached, I guess, everyone. He's like a page 6 celebrity.
Like an open secret kind of thing.
Yeah. Everybody knows about the Kosher Nostra. Just like everybody in New York knows about the Italian mafia. It's just part of it. In the car, on the way to the event that Moshe is heading to, he calls the head of his personal security, his cousin Yaakov, to get a dossier on Cyril. He wants everything that he can get on her. And after he's done, his cousin Ernie, the driver, is like, why do you want this one? She turned you down. There's like a million women out there who want you. Why this one? And Moshe explains that it's not that just that she's beautiful, but she has an incredible like strength and grace that he can see, that he really respects. He didn't just fall at his feet, or she didn't just fall at his feet because he's handsome and charming. She has a self-respect that he respects. She's not docile. She is innocent but strong. Like, there's a whole thing he does.
He got all that?
Yeah, from meeting her for like 10 minutes. But she's a very forceful personality. I got that from reading her for a couple of pages.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. At the event, Moshe's mame, I think is how you pronounce that. He calls her mame for the rest of the book. His mother is briefly very pissed off that he is late, but he tells her that it was because he was busy trying to pull himself away from his future wife.
Yeah, okay, yep. Good.
And she is thrilled that he finally found someone, because Moshe's been kind of a womanizer, and he's been seen around town on the arms of dozens of, not hundreds of women, and the fact that he's finally telling her about a woman that he's met means that he's really into her, and she's excited. And she'll ask him some more questions later, but for now they have to go empty the pockets of a lot of people on behalf of the children's hospital, so they go and they do their thing. Cyril, after her shift, goes home to take care of her mother, who, it's not revealed until a lot later, has a brain injury, and I was shocked when I read this scene, because Cyril walks in and her mom's like, I'm so happy you're home. I love you so much, baby. Thank you for taking care of me. And then she like chucks a plate at her head and calls her a whore.
Yeah.
She has incredibly erratic mood swings.
Yeah.
She slaps her twice in the face in this scene, hard enough to leave bruises, but then she also thanks her for always being there for her, and they sit and watch television together, and they like hold hands when she's not busy calling her a slut.
TBIs are fucking wild.
Whiplash, but yes, she has a TBI. And Cyril is taking care of her on her own, and she's doing her best, but she's going through some truly hard shit. The next day, Moshe, after a lot of ribbing from his various cohorts about being a stalker, goes back to Nordstrom to see her again, but she isn't there. He asks a coworker of hers named Bailey where she is, but Bailey won't say. Good job, Bailey. You never tell people where your coworkers are.
I don't care if you are ridiculously handsome.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you where my coworker is.
Exactly.
You fine foxy man.
You fine foxy man. You flash me a badge, you still better come back with a warrant. Like, I'm not telling you where people are.
Right.
So Moshe then gives her his card and is like, you have done good by my woman. You'll always have the Nostra if you need us. And then Ernie starts hitting on Bailey, and they start a thing, which is also cute. It's like a little secondary romance that happens in the background.
I love a great secondary romance.
Yes, it's adorable. Then on his way out, Moshe runs into Natalie, who immediately blurts, fuck you, Natalie. Eat shit, Natalie. That Cyril also works at Panera. On the weekends, she works at Panera. So they leave to go to Panera. And Moshe is like, whoa, this place is wild, because he's never been a Panera. He never paid $12.99 for mid broccoli cheese soup in a bread bowl.
Ernie, how long have they been putting soup in bread? You motherfucker.
Nobody ever told me you could just put the soup directly in the bread, Ernest.
I've been dipping my bread into the soup like a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, like a total asshole.
Ugh.
I could have been eating it out of bread this whole time. God, now I want soup in a bread bowl really bad.
Well, you better, Panera's closed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll go to Panera some other time.
Okay, thank you so much.
There's one right what's in Frandor's.
No, screw that place. I'm not.
Anyway.
So then they go to Panera. At Panera, Moshe asks to have lunch with Cyril, who initially is like, no. She shuts him down flat, but her manager overrules her. And I don't know if it's because he was just being polite or if he was trying not to piss off the Jewish Mafia. I don't know. But either way.
Please dine with this man.
Yeah. She goes to eat with him. He can see the bruises on her face from where her mom slapped her, and he does the "who hurt you" thing, and she just laughs in his face.
My mother.
Yeah.
Fuck.
She just laughs right in his face. And I wrote in my notes, "Oh no, my trope." Because listener, I love the "who hurt you" trope. I love it. Oh God, I love it. But I don't love "who hurt you." Laughed right in his face. Amazing.
Yeah, I'll take you over to meet my mother, and she'll chuck a plate at your head.
Yeah,
that's how
right?
you know she likes you.
They have lunch, but she is cold, completely cold. She rejects all of his advances multiple times before telling him that she has enough going on without being a mafia mistress. She has to go back to baking more bread bowls. So, bye.
Wait, you did that?
You made the bread bowl?
Now I must have you.
Cyril.
No,
Be mine forever. Bake all of my bread bowls. I'll bake your bread bowl.
How are you not famous?
I just really love the idea that the head of the Jewish Mafia is completely blown away by bread bowls.
He's
so funny.
such an alien amongst humans. He's so sheltered that every new experience is so wonderful.
So speaking of new experiences, so a few days later, Moshe is at home having girl time, quote unquote girl time, with his sister Ruthie and his cousins Tova and Sophie. And at the start of this scene, Ruthie is going off about how wild the Nordstrom is. She's never been there either. She's like, you should see all the shit they have in there, Moshe. And he's like, I was in there already. She's like, but okay. There's a whole department that's just for underpants.
Can you believe that?
It was so funny. It was so funny. But anyway, so all of the cousins and some of the aunties have gone to Nordstrom to meet Cyril.
Oh, no.
I love this family. Listener, listen to me. I love them. They are in your business, in your face, constantly gabbing, gossiping. I loved them. I loved them so much,
Yeah.
but they've all gone to Nordstrom to like try to meet Cyril.
Which is adorable, but also like no.
Yeah, she's a little turned off by it too.
Oh, good.
I mean, if I'm being honest. She doesn't mention it except like one time. She's like, yeah, I think I've met most of your family members in like casuals.
And an aunt that did not pay attention to where she was, and she was just lingering in the kids section. Ma'am, those are not going to fit you.
Nope. Yep. So many shoes. Anyway, Ruthie and Tova and Sophie, they all approve of Cyril. They think that she would be a great addition to the family, and they encourage Moshe to introduce her to them so that they can get to work on breaking down her barriers and getting her into the family. They are all scheming to get Moshe's woman for him. What? Okay. I mean, I'm from a deeply involved Lebanese family, so I understand.
Yeah,
I get it. I do. But
it's a pretty significant Venn diagram.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the Lebanese Catholics, the Jews. Just pick a family-centered culture. They're all in your business all the time. All of them.
I was not prepared when I met you.
Oh no, you weren't. That's because you came from like a fairly distant, normal white family.
That was also completely and utterly broken.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry.
Not to take the cap off of that.
I'm sorry to gloss over the fact that your family kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's whatever. But anyway, Moshe's family.
Okay, so their girl time is interrupted by a call from Tova's brother Tevya, who has called to inform. God damn it.
Wow.
This is bad. It's because I keep saying Moshe.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Who has called to inform Moshe that dead guy Tim's house is on fire.
Is dead guy Tim's widow and children in there?
Yes. Well, they were in there, but
no.
Moshe had people on the house, so they evacuated them.
Okay.
But they lost an enforcer who went back in to try and rescue the family dog.
No.
So now the Nostra believe that whoever Tim was funneling money to is out for revenge. They're going to have to deal with something besides just having to kill their embezzling accountant. A few days later at work, Cyril meets Esther, Moshe's mom, who has come in to talk to her about Moshe. Esther doesn't push. She doesn't make any demands. She just wanted to meet Cyril. And while she's here, she's going to spend a shit ton of money. Just take me shopping for a couple of hours. I have lots of family members to buy things for. If they do work on commission, she got a healthy one that day.
Yeah.
They spend a couple of hours walking through the store. Esther tells stories of Moshe's childhood, about his family, his siblings. She's very warm. She's very friendly. She's a generally very sweet woman. And she also has an incredible presence about her because she was the wife of the previous Avinu. So she has mafia queen energy.
Yeah.
Mix mafia queen and Jewish mother.
That's strong.
God damn. She's amazing.
That's strong.
She's amazing.
And what was her name?
Esther.
Esther.
Yeah.
Let's do a crossover with the Gilded Blood series.
Oh my God.
And get Esther and Didi Ketzenberg.
Esther and Didi Kestenbaum.
Oh, Kestenbaum.
Yes.
Now you said it so many times.
I did. I said Ketzenberg so many times.
Kestenbaum.
Rachel, I will never be sorry enough. Rachel Renner, the Gilded Blood series. Go read it. Anyway, when Esther leaves, she tells her, think about it. Just think about Moshe. You don't have to make any decisions. Just think about it. And even if you decide no, call me whenever you want. I like you. Either way. She tells Cyril that Moshe's playboy attitude, because Cyril brings it up like he's been with hundreds of women, that his playboy attitude is part of the lifestyle, but he has picked her. That means he's done being a playboy, and he has never ever talked about a woman with her before, so she must be important. Esther leaves. Cyril finishes her day and goes home thinking about how nice it was to spend some time with a very light and loving mother before having to go back to take care of her ailing mother. This entire book, by the way, it seems to be like a love letter to moms. Oh, it's so sweet, and it just melted me. But it seems to be a love letter to the matriarch, and fuck yes, I approve. I absolutely approve. So all of that happened with Esther on Thursday. On Saturday, Esther goes to Moshe to say she thinks that Cyril would be a wonderful sarai, which is the Hebrew word for wife, I believe, or no, mother.
Okay.
The sarai inu, the mother.
And so that by marrying Moshe, she would become that?
Yes.
Okay.
By marrying the Avraham Avinu, she would become the sarai inu.
Gotcha.
Yes. Although for the most of the rest of the book, they don't call her that. They call her the kosher queen, which is fucking beautiful to me.
I once dated the potato queen of Posen, Michigan.
Did you really?
I went on a date with the Posen potato queen.
Oh my God, you dated a potato queen?
I went on a date.
Same thing.
With the Posen potato queen.
That's amazing.
Not the same as the kosher queen, but I did go on a date once with the potato queen of Posen, Michigan.
The Posen potato queen. Was she nice?
She was very nice.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, it was
that's so cool.
It was just a thing I did in my 20s. Nothing ever came of it, but
you dated the potato queen.
I did.
All right. So Cyril says that Esther says that Cyril would be a fantastic addition to the family, but she can see that Cyril is suffocating under something, struggling and very lonely. She thinks the Nostra can fix whatever Cyril's problems are, and she encourages him to do that. And then she asks why he hasn't read the dossier that Yaakov put together for him on Cyril. And he says because he doesn't want to learn all of that information through a dossier. He wants to have a real connection and get honest answers from Cyril. He doesn't want to start off being a creep.
He doesn't want to start with a dossier. He wants to have a nice bowl of tomato soup in a bread bowl.
Yep, with some croutons and melted cheese on top.
You think that the croutons are excessive in a bread bowl?
There's never too much bread with soup.
No, you just have older, staler bread.
Yes.
In the softer bread.
Yes.
Now I want soup and bread.
Well, you were talking about wanting to do to cook something together this weekend. Maybe we should make soup and bread bowls.
Yeah. Maybe we should.
I can make bread. We can make bread bowls.
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
Let's make bread bowls. But first, let's do a podcast.
Yeah. Shit, that's right.
Shit, where I'm in the middle of a story. Fuck,
I'm holding a microphone. Oh.
Esther is very proud of Moshe for his decision to seek an honest and open relationship with Cyril, and she wishes him all of the best, but says that if Cyril says no to him, she's still going to be her bestie. So,
fair enough, yeah.
Whatever happens, Esther's going to be fine because Esther's going to have friends.
I have a new friend.
Yeah. At Panera later that day, Moshe takes Cyril outside during her break. She accepts his hand and metaphorically his advances. Like she accepts holding his hand. She doesn't accept his hand in marriage.
Right.
She accepts his hand to hold. Metaphorically, she is accepting his advances, but she says that she is only saying yes to this because she likes his mom.
All right.
Hey, whatever gets you in the door. He gives her a big hug at that point as soon as she says yes, and she's done. He hugs so good. Probably not as good as you.
Well, you know.
You give really good hugs, baby.
It's those broad shoulders,
It
man.
is. And those big, strong arms.
Gonna be so good at hugging.
Ugh, so good at hugging. Eventually, they agree they will go on 2 dates so that he can be sure he's really interested in her before she tells him her life story, because there's a lot of shit and she doesn't want to get involved with telling him all of that unless he thinks that she is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Internally, he gets all growly because that means somebody at some point has told her she wasn't worth it. The tropes are going to trope. This is a mafia romance. He's gonna growl all the time. All the time will he growl. He then asks what she wants in a man, and she says she needs someone who is dependable, understanding, compassionate, and faithful. And just to goad him a little bit, she also says that his dick needs to be between 7 and 10 inches. And he assures her that he is an 8.5, a 9 on a good day. So there you go. Big dick club. I don't know if that qualifies or not. Above average club.
Definitely.
For sure.
I mean, I think the average is like 5.5.
Yeah,
6.
It's something like just over 5 erect.
Yeah.
So 8.5, he's doing pretty good, but it's still like a normal, manageable human penis.
Not a 9.5 inch hydro flask.
Yeah.
Hanging.
Yeah. It's not like, a soul to keep where he had to do a magic spell to rearrange her insides so his dick would fit. He also tells her that no matter what her life story is, short of like being a puppy kicker or a neo-Nazi, nothing's going to make him lose interest.
Fair.
So yeah. That night, they go to dinner. The conversation, the chemistry, it is fucking amazing. It is fire. It was so good. Please go read this book. I can't read this entire scene to you. It was so good. He proposes to her like 3 times in the first 5 minutes because of how amazing she is. Yeah, lock it down, man. You found her. You keep her, right?
Stop digging, Cyril.
Yep,
You've struck
oil. She is such a fantastic woman. Both Moshe and I have a lot of respect for Cyril. Moshe is then called away for an emergency, and initially he insists on taking Cyril with him, but she says no. He fights her on it. He tries to like Avinu his way into getting what he wants, and she shuts down and she leaves. She's like, if you can't accept my no, we're done. I told you no. I can't go home with you. Don't ask me again. So yes, like fuck yes, good job.
Yep.
Really love that. And eventually he does hang his head like a kicked puppy and ask that she at least get the food they order boxed up so that she can take the food home.
Yeah.
And she's like, fine, I'm not going to turn down a free, really nice meal.
Of course not.
But she leaves and he goes back to the compound where everybody lives. They live on this huge compound on like 30 acres of land because they are now on code Royal Tenenbaums. I thought you would enjoy that.
Yes, I do.
Also, Tim's widow and children are living in the Jeff Goldblum safe house. All of their code words are so good.
Oh, I love it.
It's so great. Anyway, so code Royal Tenenbaums means full family lockdown. Everybody has to come back to the compound. Yep. There's been a threat. And when he gets to the compound, he is informed that one of their security guys that was watching Tim's house has been killed and dropped at their gate. There's a note in the security guy's pocket that says the Nostra now owe $750,000 on Tim's behalf. Because Tim owed somebody $500,000 and they're upping it to $750 because they can, basically.
For the trouble.
Yeah, pain and suffering.
Yeah.
An annoyance tax, maybe. Yep. I don't know. Moshe is interrupted from that conversation because he gets a phone call from the security guys that he has watching Cyril's house, who say that there's yelling coming from Cyril's apartment. So he sends them inside. A few seconds later, they call back and she is on the phone and she is screaming at him because how fucking dare he? I love her so much. Oh my God. You can't just send people to my house. They came in guns blazing, scared the shit out of me and my mom.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Don't do that.
My mom slapped the shit out of him.
I wish she would have. She probably threw something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she hangs up on him, and that's where I laughed out loud. That was that scene where I told you the whole story, but basically one of his guys gives him shit about being, I don't know, pussy whipped by someone he hasn't even had sex with yet. And eventually he clocks them. And his dad is like, Moshe, don't do that. He learned his lesson. And Moshe says, well, what if he'd said something like that about mom? And his dad just turns around and goes, who's got a marker? We're drawing dicks on his face now. And that's where I laughed out loud. I loved the idea of you pissed off the Avenue.
Yeah. He
clocked you and knocked you out, and then he drew dicks on your face.
A, you're lucky you didn't end up like Dead Guy Tim.
Yes, you are.
And B, that is literally adding insult to injury.
Yes, it is.
And I love it.
Yes, it's so good. So good. And very, very funny. The next morning, Cyril goes to work, and she finds a town car outside waiting for her with a driver and a gentle request from Moshe to please take the ride. Which she will do.
Yeah.
And she is also very touched that he is going to be leaving security at her home all day to make sure her mom is safe too. She is infuriated by him most of the time. Like, she thinks that he is arrogant, overwhelming, a crime boss, several other things, a schmuck. I think she calls him a schmuck at some point, but he is also very caring and considerate. And the fact that he left security for her mother is the thing that just melts her heart.
Bit of a mensch.
He's a bit of a mensch. She thinks she sees finding Moshe as hope. Not hope that he will solve her problems. She can solve her own problems, but hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and maybe someone to help hold her hand while she walks through those problems.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Men won't save you, but they can hold your hand while you save yourself.
Yep.
Yes.
And we can stand over there and go, you good? You good?
Yep.
All right. I'm still here. You good? You got this.
Yep.
Smack on the ass.
And then occasionally we're like, can you lift this? Because it is heavy and I don't want to.
And I'm like, fuck yeah.
And you love lifting shit.
I love lifting shit.
After work, Moshe comes to pick Cyril up and asks if he can please meet her mother. At her apartment, Moshe finds a mostly bare space, almost completely devoid of furniture except for folding chairs and like an old couch that they probably got off of the street. Only quick and cheap food options and Cyril's Mama Susie. I love Mama Susie. Yes, she's kind of a bitch, but she has a TBI. We don't hold that against
Not her
her.
fault.
She is a lovely, sweet woman. Again, this book is an ode to mothers.
Yeah.
I love you, Mama Susie. After Cyril gets her mom settled and fed, she then goes to tell Moshe the story of how they came to be in the position that they're in. So Cyril's dad left when she was 3, but she had an older brother who was 10 years older than her. His name was Michael, and he was a dick. He was pissed mostly about the fact that they didn't have as much money as other people, and so he couldn't get the things he wanted. And also he blamed his mother for their dad leaving. And then he met a woman named Diana, who was also a dick. They demanded a large sum of money for their wedding, and Susie told them that she would give them $10,000 from her 401k, and that was all that they were getting, and they were not happy with that. Shortly after that, Mama Susie had a seizure while driving her car. She rear-ended Michael's wife during the seizure.
Mm-hmm.
Michael's wife, Diana, was fine, but Mama Susie suffered a TBI and has never been the same. It took a long time to get her to even this point, and she's still having a lot of problems.
TBI, for those of you, traumatic brain injury.
Sorry, traumatic brain injury. Michael was then given guardianship over Cyril, but left her at home to care for their mother when she was just 15 years old. She's been working at least 2 jobs ever since just to keep a roof over their heads. And then Michael and Diana sued Susie for the accident and took everything. They took the house, sold it, kept the profits. They emptied Mama's 401k. They sold all of their possessions and kept the money. They have nothing.
Jesus Christ.
All they have left is Mama's disability, and they don't even have the disability portion that she would have gotten for having a minor child, because that was funneled to Michael
of course,
as well.
because he was the guardian.
Because he was the guardian. And now, all these years later, Cyril is still working 2 jobs at a time and barely making ends meet to pay back all of the legal fees and the settlement that they won in court.
Mm-hmm.
And then recently, Diana cornered Cyril in the grocery store in their hometown and took all of the food out of her cart and was basically like, if you can afford snacks, you can afford to pay my settlement faster. What? Oh, I'm sorry. You thought you were going to get to eat? No, you owe me money.
To quote the great TikTok I saw today, I'd call her a cunt, but she lacks the depth and the warmth.
Yep, exactly. So after the incident at the grocery store, Cyril requested a transfer from her job at Nordstrom. The Charlotte location had a position. She took it and they left. And now they're in Charlotte trying to rebuild.
Where were they before?
She didn't say.
Okay, just
I don't know.
Not in Charlotte.
Just not in Charlotte.
Got it.
Yeah. So Moshe then declares, after learning all of this, that Cyril and Mama Susie will be moving into the compound immediately. She argues with him about that, but he shuts her down, and he basically says, like, I am a selfish man and I will do what I can to get what I want, and what I want is for all of the people that I care about to be taken care of. So you're coming home with me.
Yeah. Which is a really fine line to walk, because you don't want to be shitty and like throw your money around and be a bossy rich fucker, but at the same time you are doing it altruistically.
Yeah, I mean,
but forcefully.
Yeah, he's being kind of a dick. He's being a mob boss right now, and it's sort of a very similar personality to other mob bosses in romances. Yeah. He's a good person, but he doesn't use gentle means to get his way. Sometimes he makes demands.
His methods are unorthodox but effective.
Yes, exactly. He tells Cyril to go pack their bags. He then calls Mama Esther and asks her to get a room set up for Susie and to get a full-time nurse hired as soon as possible. He also then gives an absolutely filthy, like, whisper speech to Cyril about how he doesn't need to have. She says, like, we've only ever even kissed, and you're doing all of this for me. And he basically says, like, I don't have to have fucked you to know that I want to fuck you and I really love you.
Mm-hmm.
Or not love you, but like, you're mine, basically. And he knows that they are meant to be, and they are going to be having a lot of sex very soon. So don't even worry about it. But my notes do say here, side note, Moshe, honey, listen to me. Never use the phrase spray your womb ever again. That's fucking gross. He was talking about knocking her up.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to make babies, but he said, I'll spray your womb.
Yeah. Moshe, no.
Bad, Moshe. Bad.
If I said that to you, the next thing I would hear would be the sound of your vagina sealing itself shut forever.
Yup. Yes, you would.
It would sound like one of those comically complicated, like, it would, your vagina would make the sound that you, like, sometimes you hear in, like, TV or movies when somebody lives in a bad neighborhood.
Oh, and there's like
just
19 locks.
19 different locks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is your vagina doing that right now?
They're growing. They're growing themselves. The locks are growing right now.
Oh, that's even worse.
It is worse, but you know what? You said spray your womb.
And my vagina and all of its
Sealed.
accompanying parts.
I look like a Ken doll now. I'm just sealed up.
Oh, that's right. We're gonna watch Barbie after this.
No, we are gonna watch Barbie. I'm so excited to watch Barbie after this. All right. So at the compound, Cyril and Mama Susie meet the rest of the family. It's another fantastic but very quick scene of meeting like 15 people. It's like, have you seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
No.
It's like the scene in My Big Fat Greek Wedding where she brings him home to meet the family for the first time, and he meets like 30 people in 5 seconds.
Let me rescind that. I've never seen like the movie, but that movie was always on when I would go visit my mom.
Yeah, Tina loved that movie.
She loved that movie. So I have seen that scene. I think I've probably seen the entirety of the movie just like Memento style, like completely out of order.
Mm-hmm.
So I just couldn't.
It's a good movie.
I've heard. Apparently, I keep
There's
seeing
another one.
I was just
going
to
to
say I keep seeing Nia Villardo's like in my socials.
Yeah, she's got a third one coming out, and I think they've got all the same actors coming back, which is super cool. All right, so at the compound, they meet the family. They take Mama upstairs to her new room. They introduce her to her new nurse, and they get her settled in. But Cyril will be sleeping in Moshe's suite with Moshe. Then after all of this is done, Moshe leaves to go and have a meeting. Esther takes Cyril to the suite and they talk for a little while. In this meeting, Moshe learns that dead guy Tim got in deep with underground betting at the Native American casino and was skimming money to pay back that debt. So Moshe now knows that he needs to put in a call to the casino and get in touch with the bosses there. And now they just have to wait. After the meeting's over, he goes back up to the suite. He climbs into bed with Cyril and they snuggle for the rest of the night and they sleep.
I love a good snuggle.
Oh, snuggles are so good. So good. At breakfast the next morning, Moshe tells Cyril that Mama's nurse is setting up reevaluations so they can formulate a better care plan and maybe help her improve.
Okay.
That Yaakov is looking into Mama's accident. At Cyril's request, he will not be killing Michael and Diana yet.
We're gonna put a pin in that one.
And then he tells her to quit whichever job she likes less and to cut her hours back at the job that she keeps. A, because she doesn't need to work as much anymore, and B, because they're still on lockdown. And while he won't tell her not to go to work, he has asked that she take the week off for now, at least, until they can get something sorted and keep her secure as possible. But again, he's not going to tell her not to work. She can work as much as she wants. She just doesn't need to be working 7 days a week at 2 different jobs anymore.
No.
There is a moment where he is very sweet but very domineering at the same time, and it turns Cyril on so much that she's like, I gotta go take a nap. Goodbye.
There we go.
Goes
I was
take
waiting.
A nap.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Her defenses are coming down.
Yep. And she wakes up from that nap with Moshe's head between her legs, and she comes on his face. We begin the fucking, and we do not stop the fucking from this point on.
How many pages did that take, roughly?
About half.
All right.
About half. It's not a slow burn, necessarily. It's not like the last chapter of the book like Himbro was, but it took a little while. About half. After she's done coming all over his face, he says that he has to leave for work, but she convinces him to stay for a blowjob. And he's going to say no to that.
I was going to say, twist my arm.
Right?
I guess I got the time.
At the meeting with the Native American casino bosses, Moshe negotiates that they will handle the problem of Tim's family and the threat to the Nostra. In exchange, the Nostra will be making a large donation to the Res school.
I like it.
And he walks away from that meeting saying, I hope you figure this out, but if you don't, I'll kill someone. Like, I'll kill the people who are threatening me and mine. Cyril spends the afternoon and evening watching movies with Mama in the entertainment room. Moshe and various family members come and go. They bring food, they chat, they watch movies. At one point, one big scary Capitan cries over the incinerator scene in Toy Story 4.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I remember we went and saw that in the theater, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Tevye. The same guy who got the dicks drawn on his face was also crying about the incinerator scene. At the end of that night, they put Mama to bed, And the fucking continues. I have put in my notes that it is 2 chili peppers. It's 2 chili peppers. It's not particularly intense or detailed, but it's good. It's good. The sex scenes are good. So in this scene, there is a standing fuck.
I love a good standing fuck,
and
boys.
then riding with simultaneous orgasms. After they finish, Moshe says, "I love you" for the first time, and Cyril says it back. They fall asleep. In the morning, Moshe wakes Cyril with nipple play and fingering, and then they go have sex in the shower before beginning their day. So, like I said, begin.
Yeah, no kidding. Getting right after it.
Yep. Not all of this sex is written out. A lot of it is just like, and then we went and had sex, and then we went and started our day.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of fucking happening between these two. Moshe goes to a meeting with his capitans. They talk about the businesses, the various businesses that they have, legitimate and otherwise. And then Yaakov tells Moshe that he can't find any lawsuits involving Mama Susie at all.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's something even bigger brewing underneath all of what was happening in Cyril's past. A few days later, Cyril tells Moshe all about the plans that the doctors have for Mama Susie. She's doing so much better. They've got all the blood work done. They've prescribed her medication. She's going to have like 4 different kinds of therapy. She's in such a better position now.
We're getting her a new brain. It's going to be...
I wish you could, man. Not like a whole new brain.
I know.
But I just wish it were easier to treat TBIs.
Absolutely.
Back when I worked at the ambulance company, a lot of my work was around transporting patients with TBIs to the various things they needed to do, and it was so sad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, man. All right. Moshe then tells Cyril to go get ready. He's going to take her on a date. She goes to get ready, but Ruthie and the cousins follow her, and they do a full makeover. Until she's just looking slick. When she walks out, Moshe's like, change of plans. And she's like, no, you said I was getting a date. You said I was getting a date. Keep it in your pants.
Date first.
Yeah. They go to a lovely dinner at an Italian restaurant. After their meal, as they're driving home, their security detail who is driving behind them is cut off by 2 other cars filled with assailants, and they have a chase on the highway with bumper cars, like they're running into each other and shooting. A real live car chase happens, but thankfully their vehicles are all bullet resistant, so nothing bad happens to anyone. They get back to the compound without injury. Ernie is also a fantastic driver. He was pulling like some NASCAR shit. Good for you, Ernie. After they get inside, Cyril and Moshe have "we just survived something terrifying" sex, but not in detail. Mira, what the fuck? That would have been a fantastic sex scene to write out in full. Girl, come on.
Then he sprayed her womb.
Oh, God. He did no such thing. He never did that. So gross. Afterwards, Moshe goes to leave, and Cyril begs him to stay. He's kind of a shouty prick about it, though. He's like, I am the Avinu. Everything that I have is because I'm a violent man who does violent things. And he's just kind of a dick.
Yeah.
They have a huge fight about it, and then he stomps away, saying that they will discuss this later. She shuts down immediately. He feels terrible for having said all of that, but he has to leave because the assailants have been caught, and he has to go do his bloody business now. Cyril packs her and Mama's bags, thinking that she's going to leave. She's obviously not prepared to be the kosher queen. She can't do this, and she will not accept being treated like that, so she's going to go. But Esther, who overheard the fight, comes in to talk to her about what it means to be the wife of the Avinu, basically. And she tells her that everything that Moshe said was awful. It was coming from a place of fear and powerlessness. However, you should put him in his place when he gets back. Obviously, he can't just get away with that.
Yeah, no.
But do understand that he is a good man, but there are 2 sides to him. He has to be the Avinu, and sometimes that means he has to be violent, and sometimes that means he has to be hard. But that he is otherwise a good person. He is the one who took the family to legitimacy, built all the legitimate businesses, got them out of the crime business almost entirely, because he didn't want everyone in the family is his actual family. He didn't want them to have the threat of prison hanging over their heads all the time.
Right.
So he made it so that they wouldn't have to be. Great job. Well done.
Didn't need an MBA for that.
No. Look at him.
Yeah.
He just needed, the money and resources that come from having a long-running crime family.
Right. But
who needs that MBA when you've got the mob?
Exactly.
She says at the end of the day, he cares very deeply. He cares very deeply about the family and about her, and to just consider it. Just food for thought. She's not going to make any demands of her, as usual. Esther would never make demands. At the warehouse that they keep for torturing and killing their enemies, Moshe tortures and kills their enemies. When he is done, he asks Ernie to take him to a florist because he's got some groveling to do. When he gets back home, he apologizes. Cyril accepts the apology. They have a quick and dirty makeup sex. Mid-sex, he asks her to marry him, and she says yes. Was she coming? Was she accepting? We don't know, but he rolls with it.
I was going to say, that seems unfair.
It is very unfair, but he's not going to be fair. He's going to be a mob boss.
Which I guess on the scale of things that a mob boss could do to you, asking for your hand in marriage mid-orgasm.
Yeah.
That the orgasm that he is at least assisting.
Giving you, yeah.
I suppose that's one of the less bad things you could do. You're not going to take you to the torture warehouse.
It's ambitious. It's not downright nefarious, you know?
It's not even zoned for torture, Moshe. Jesus Christ. You can't torture somebody in here.
This is the warehouse district.
This is a 1-inch drain.
You got to go to the torture district.
You need at least a 2-inch
drain. 2-inch drain.
You need a 2-inch drain to get that shit down there.
I know your electric's not up to code. You better not be hooking anybody up.
200 amp. You need a 200 amp box, Moshe. Anyway.
Sorry. Once they finish their makeup sex, he presents her with several potted plants, each with their own symbolic significance, including a cactus, which he promises she can stab him with if he ever fucks up again.
Oh, God. Imagine somebody taking a cactus right upside your head and like getting you in the ear.
Yeah.
You got a cactus needle in your ear.
Ooh, yikes. Yeah, well, now I know what I'm going to do. If anybody ever breaks in, I'm going to slap him in the face with a cactus. The next morning, Cyril gets all of the info about Mama Susie's accident and lawsuits from Yaakov. There was no lawsuit. The car insurance covered all of the damages from the accident, including all of the medical claims and claims from several other people who claimed pain and suffering for being in the traffic and shit like that. The legal documents that she saw were all forged by a shady lawyer. CPS was never called about the minor whose mom had a TBI. Everything that Michael and Diana presented to her was fake. All this time, Cyril thought that she'd been paying off legal fees and settlements. She's just been paying Michael, just lining his pockets. I know. That's her brother. He did that to her. What the shit?
I have heard some egregious shit on this show that characters in books have done.
Yeah.
But this is the first time I really have truly wanted to go into a book and punch somebody right in the face.
Yeah. Well, you did want to punch Bryce last week, too.
Yeah, but I was just saying that.
Oh, you actually want to punch Michael.
Actually, that is fucking gross.
Well, I have great news.
Thank God.
So, Cyril is obviously pissed. She is so pissed that she actually swears. She doesn't swear in this book. Okay. She says early on that she doesn't swear because her mom always told her that intelligent people could find a better way to express themselves.
Bullshit.
Fuck you, I'm very smart. Mama Susie, I love you, but fuck you. I'm very smart and I cuss all the time. So Cyril throws a plate against a wall. She has a fit. She uses several Yiddish cuss words, and she also says fuck. And when her tirade's done, Moshe goes, Cyril, you cussed. She's so mad. She tells Moshe that she wants him to ruin Michael, not kill him, destroy his life. And he's like, you got it, babe. Done and done. So he sends a couple of his enforcers. God damn it. This is so bad.
I can't edit around this.
I know you can't.
Nor would I want to.
He sends a couple of his enforcers just to scare Michael. And according to Ernie, who reenacts the entire thing, there was crying, snot bubbles, and pissing. So Michael's legitimately terrified. Moshe then sicks his lawyers on them to slowly pick apart their entire life. They get back every cent that was ever taken. They probably get prison time for falsifying legal documents as well. Like,
man, I fucking
excellent,
hope so.
amazing. A few days later, after all of this, Moshe gets a letter from the casino thanking him for his donation to the residential schools. There will be no war between them and the Native Americans because, yes, he killed their people, but he warned them.
Yeah.
And they understand that. He had it coming.
I love the idea that they sent this letter. Thank you for your kind donation. And also, please know that as a result of your kind donation, we will not be warring with you any further.
There's nothing said about the war
I
in the letter,
know,
but it would be funny.
I like
but
the idea.
Like, you gave a lot of money to the residential schools, and now they're all getting free breakfasts and lunch and new computers. Like,
I just like the idea that it's on letterhead.
Yeah, it is on letterhead.
See?
From the casino.
Yeah.
The book ends with Moshe considering that he and Sarah will be getting married in 2 months. That's as long as he can wait. So that's the end of the book. But there is an epilogue.
There's always an epilogue.
1 month later, Sarah starts her period. And Moshe is all pissed off. He's like, why aren't you pregnant yet? I've been trying so hard to get you pregnant.
I have been spraying your womb.
You're not pregnant. He's like, I have such great seed and it should be doing its job. She starts laughing at him again because it's insane. But also she's like, you pay so close attention to me and you never noticed I've been on the pill this whole time. If you wanted to have a baby, you should have told me. I'm the incubator. I need to know. You
nutsack.
Idiot. So he tells her to stop the pill. He wants to get pregnant with he wants to get her pregnant immediately. And then they have sex. She's on her period. They have sex anyway. Period sex. I've never read that in a book before. There are a few. I am told, I believe in one of Gwendolyn Harper's newest books, there's like a blood play scene or something. So that's, if you're into that, fuck yeah.
Oh, no, thank you.
I do love Gwen. I will always support her. I will always support Gwendolyn Harper's efforts.
Of course.
To make more fantastic books. More. Gwendolyn, more. Anyway.
But that's why they make content warnings.
Yes, they do. So they have period sex. It's a blast. When they're done, he's like, do you think it worked? She's like, okay, I took my pill and I'm on my period. He's like, no, my seed is strong. It'll find a way.
Like it's in there, just like old time 30 style bare knuckle boxing.
I think he's like, my sperm will just find a better strategy. It'll all work. It'll work fine. And
I have the smartest sperm.
Yeah, the best sperm, the smartest, most strategic,
handsome sperm.
Exactly. And so the book officially ends with Sarah declaring that he is a strange man, but he is her man. And he agrees. And that's the end of the book. Kosher Nostra, book 1. I fucking wish I was in the Jewish Mafia. I loved these people. I loved this book. I loved it.
You would have to be like head of HR. Or something. You are not a violent person.
No, I'm not a violent person at all. I wouldn't want to be involved like that. But mostly the women of the family aren't involved in the violence.
Yeah, that's
portion. Fair. They don't put the women of the family at risk.
Yeah.
But they work in like accounting.
Mm.
Dead guy Tim was replaced by cousin Rebecca.
Oh, good.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I've always been fascinated with, like crime syndicates, mafias, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Watched that really cool video on YouTube recently about prison gangs.
I have a question for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me finish this thought, which is I've never wanted to be a mob boss.
Uh-huh.
I've always wanted to be the guy that is like part of the family, but no one talks about, because if we're saying his name, it's like a tornado. If you hear it, it's too fucking late for
There's
you.
a guy in the family, like his name is, they call him the Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy. And then I show up like I am now. Like, oh, hey, this big, affable, charming guy. And they're like, nobody takes me seriously because I don't carry a gun. And they're like, oh, no, he doesn't need a gun.
Do you want to watch him cook?
Yeah.
I'll get you the barf bag.
Yeah.
You're going to need it.
Yeah, you're going to need two. I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
What's your question?
All right. So it has been brought to my attention by TikTok this week that I should ask you this question.
Oh, sure.
As most women are asking the men in their lives this question, and I want to know. Carl, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
very infrequently.
Okay, cool. That's how I know you're neurodivergent. Because apparently the neurotypicals think about it every day.
Oh, no.
Like, most of these videos I've been watching have been like, honey, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? I don't know, like 3 or 4 times a day? They're obsessed with it.
No.
Why? That was like a long ass time ago.
No. I generally am thinking about, like, I mean, I have OCD, and my OCD manifests itself along with my autism in that I have a thought and then I think that thought until I lose all track of time, but I try to think it just the right way. I must think this thought the exact way, and then it will go away. If I think it just right, so the Roman Empire is really not on my agenda. Ever. It did come up recently when I thought I was going to start playing Crusader Kings 3, but other than that, no, never.
All right. Good to know. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I was dreading that you were going to say a lot, and I was going to have to reevaluate you as a person.
No, God, no.
You don't seem like the kind of person who lives in history like that.
I know that's the joke. Like, as you get older, you develop, you either become barbecue dad, beer and whiskey dad, or World War II dad. And instead, I've become Gundam dad, anime dad.
Yep.
Video
game dad.
Nerd dad. I do not care about any of that other shit.
You're also gym dad.
I'm also
You're
gym
like buff
dad.
gym dad.
I am definitely buff gym dad. I also occasionally I have my guitar over here. I'll pick that up in
Noodle.
In Noodle, I'll hear a song and I go, I can play that.
That is freakish to me.
I
love you very much, but that is freakish to me. I can't believe you could just pick up a guitar and just be like, oh yeah, I can play that song. There it is. Yep, that's
tonight. It was
Zombie by the Cranberries.
Tonight it was Short Skirt, Long Jacket.
Oh, that's a good song.
By Cake.
By Cake.
Do you want to? We talked about it today. You want to try and roll out the new segment?
Yes, a brand new segment for you guys.
So I'm taking this idea. There's a magnificent video game podcast out there called Triple Click. It's part of the Maximum Fun Network. I highly suggest you check it out if you like video games. The hosts, there's 3 hosts. They're all excellent. Kirk Hamilton, Jason Schreier, and Maddie Myers. And at the end of every episode, they do a segment called One More Thing, where they talk about something that's not related to to video games. So not related to the topic of their podcast. So we are going to completely steal that idea.
Yes.
But Katie came up with the magnificent name of So, What Are You Into? And so every week we're just going to tell you, hey, this is a thing that we're into right now. So do you want to go first?
Why don't you go first?
I will go first. I am what I'm into this week is I started another playthrough of the magnificent video game Disco Elysium. It's sort of like Dungeons and Dragons. It's like a dice-based video game. You have to roll and check, and you have different likelihoods of getting it. But instead of like an orc or a tiefling, you are just a massively alcoholic police officer trying to solve a crime. I can't say enough good things about it. The narrator in the game is magnificent and
so funny.
It's so funny, and he did it took months and months. I think it said 9 months for one guy to record all the dialogue, and he's doing all this work. And I wish I'd have done the research to look it up beforehand. But if you like a game, it's not an action game. It's just a very chill game. It's intense. It's definitely fucking intense. So don't think it's going to be like
it's not one. Yeah, it's not one of my games. It's not a cozy.
No, it's not cozy at all. But it is hilarious, and it's thought provoking and oddly touching at times. So I'll post a link to a trailer or of it in the show notes, so you can go check it out. It's available on pretty much every platform if you're into that sort of thing. So that's what I'm into this week. I'm playing Disco Elysium again. I am playing my himbo build in honor of the fact that I love himbos and am one, and we've been talking about them on the show.
Yeah.
No brains, all brawn, and powerful emotions.
Oh, that's fantastic.
What are you into?
I am into this song. There's a song called American Horror Show by the artist Snow Wife. I am obsessed with it. It is not my normal stuff. Usually I listen to folk music. I love American folk like Noah Kahan. I also love British folk like The Amazing Devil. I love shit like that. Gentle guitar and emotions. Like that's what I love. This song is so outside of my normal listening. I am obsessed with it. I listen to it multiple times a day. I watch the video repeatedly. I like it so much. There's a TikTok dance associated with it, and I learned the TikTok dance. I'll never record it. I'm not going to record a TikTok dance. You must be out your mind if you think I'll do that. But I learned it because I love this fucking song. So that's what I'm into this week. American Horror Show by Snow Wife.
And I will put that in the. I'll put the video to link to the video in the show notes.
Oh, please do!
As
yeah,
well,
I think everyone should watch it. It's great. It's filthy, so don't listen to it around your kids. But it's good.
In the meantime, you can find us on social media. We are on TikTok and Instagram at Cheap Smut. You can send us an email if you're into that sort of thing, cheapsmutpod@gmail.com. The song that you hear in this and every episode is called Nostalgia by Mackay Beats. You can find it along with thousands of other songs free of charge for you to use at the Free Music Archive, freemusicarchive.org. Have you settled on a book for next week?
Yes, I have. Next week we are going to be reading Grump Gone Wild by Cassie Mint. Cassie Mint is another of my favorite quick dirty reads. She writes a lot of novellas. They're always fantastic. It is a boss romance. We haven't done one of those yet. Falling in love with your boss.
Ooh.
So that'll be a lot of fun, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
I am too. That's new. I like it.
It's going to be great. In the meantime, listener, if there is a book in you, write it. And if there's fucking in it, I'll read it.
And then she will come on this show and explain it to me for your entertainment.
I've had a wonderful time, and now it is time for me to go. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.